Okay, hello everyone. I am going to make a quick and very high quality, high visual video on how to write a paper for Dr. Ford. Many of you were concerned about your last papers and wanted to know how you can improve, and I think that you found that Dr. Ford doesn't grade easily. And I think that you'll also find that it's a good thing. It's very preparatory for grad school and for professional writing, and it really improves your writing. On my first paper, he actually made me cry, but I've gotten much better since then, and I've become a much better writer. So to start, we'll start here with step 1, which actually starts way before the paper is due, and this is where you prepare. This is when you take notes, when you are in class, when you are watching the videos, when you are doing your readings. You shouldn't just be reading, but be actively engaged in preparing, and that includes taking notes, underlining, finding quotes, finding connections, all of the above. I'm sure that you know how to prepare and that you can do that in the way that's most conducive to your style. But this part is really important, and it makes the paper writing process go so much quicker if you already have it done and you already know what you want to say and you have a good understanding of what we've learned thus far. And so step 1 is to prepare, and it should start early. And if it hasn't, if it's too late for that, I would say that you should probably spend some time there before you begin writing. Step 2 is to think deeply about what you are learning about. What we learn here in conflict resolution and peace building it's not just vocabulary or memorization. These are theories about man and the way we think and make decisions and feel and emotions. It's like the complexities of humans. You find the worst of men and the best of men in conflict, and it's captivating material if we let it be. I think that probably the most common feedback for papers is go deeper, think deeper, and this should start before you write. This should start as you're learning, but also as you're writing. Think of it more as not just commentating on vocabulary, but showing that you can think deeply and understand deeply about the implications of the theory, and also about the inner workings of the theory as well. So maybe, for example, like in the box, perhaps instead of saying in the box, you think about the metaphor. What does in the box stand for? And you could think again about what does that mean? Disconnection, and what is the implication of disconnection, that humans choose to be disconnected from each other, and what does that mean? And these are more profound the deeper that you get about it, where on the surface it seems so simple, just to be in the box or out of the box, or however you want to say it. So that's step number 2. It'll be quite helpful. It's frequent feedback, and once you do that, it will make step 3 easier, which is to connect. Find the connections, the ideas, the undercurrents. This part's quite important because you are required to use 3 theories in your papers, at least 3, and connecting, I think you'll find is a direct result of thinking deeply, because most often the connections aren't on the surface, and your paper becomes powerful once you find the connections and find that bigger picture that you can base your thesis off, that you can use the theories to perhaps support or to explain, and then you'll be able to support those with your examples and your readings. But I wouldn't think of the theories as just separate entities. The courses are sort of divided into different sections, and those sections aren't just happenstance. The theories that are within there all connect to a greater whole or to a greater idea, and I would spend some time searching for that and connecting those on deeper levels, that your understanding is greater and that you can show that in the paper. So as you can see, a lot of writing the paper just comes from conceptualizing it, right? You can write a great paper grammatically and it can flow and everything, but if it's not deep, if it doesn't show that you can understand and connect the theories, and then not only connect the theories together, you want to do that, you want to connect the theories on that deeper level together, find the undercurrents of the theories, but also that you can then, after connecting them there, connect to the practical side, connect to the examples, connect to what you're analyzing. Okay. And then, so you're ready to start writing. Don't forget the cover page. The cover page is actually quite helpful. It is a page of Chad's expectations that we can check off and make sure that we have accomplished. So we can just go through this really quickly. Revise your paper at least 2 times. This is important. You can tell when it's a first draft that you've turned in, and I'm sure that we all know about that. And so your first revision should clarify your structure and your arguments. So just go through and make sure that you've said it the best way that you can say it. It's structured well, it's easy to understand that way. And then your second revision can take out things that are unnecessary, make it clear, make it precise and concise. So anything that might be confusing, you can edit that. And then also, of course, spell check and proofread to make sure your grammar is fine. For every argument I made, I included support from the readings. I also made sure that I quoted or paraphrased the author accurately, and made sure that I explained in my own words what the theory meant. So this is probably an important part. I'm going to come back to this and go more in depth. Include all proper citations, of course. This is like on the same spectrum of plagiarizing. When you use an idea or a theory or paraphrase author or use a quote, obviously you must cite those, and the proper way to do that is author and page number. Okay. Have someone other than you read the paper, revise it as needed. This can be your TA, or many of you have mentors or friends that have done the program. I would really recommend that. It's always really helpful. Okay. So going back to this point here. This is a formula that has really helped me, and you can choose to adopt it or not, but I always find that it makes my papers much better. When you are using your 3 different theories that are required, I find it helpful to first introduce the theory that you are going to be talking about, and then define it. And that can be using the author's words or your words, but you must describe it in your own words and make sure that that Dr. Ford can see that you understand it on that deeper level. And then once you describe it, support it with an example. And this formula applied to each theory that you use can be quite helpful, and I've just included an example from a paper that I recently wrote for Dr. Ford that did well, and I think you can pause this and you can use it as you will or not. It's up to you, but I think you'll see that I introduce the theory, I define it, I describe it in my own words as well as with the words of the author, and then I support it with an example from the film that is short that allows me to go on to my next theory. Okay, and often in this same regard, and with this formula, it's common that students will use the examples as the main part of their theory, but perhaps the main part of their paper, perhaps just recognize that you're analyzing theory, you're showing your understanding of theory, and the examples are the support for the theory, not the other way around where the theory is just like a minor support for the examples. I hope that makes sense. the theory should be what you're supporting with your examples. You can pause this here if you'd like to look at it further. Okay, and then we're just going to move on to the rubric. This is recently created and it's helpful. I talked about this, the properly cited theory. It's author plus page number, and that goes back to the formula. What citing means is that then, okay, so once you cite an author or paraphrase it or use their idea, you cite them, but then that also means that you include a brief description of the theory they are using in your own words and in a way that they would agree with you saying it like that. Okay, and have a strong thesis and use the proper theory and analysis. So once you have a strong thesis, once you sort of back to getting the bigger picture, finding the undercurrents, when you have developed your strong thesis, then the theory, all of your theory should support your thesis. And once you've made that thesis, finding that theory to support it is much easier. You have to use at least 3 different theories. We've talked about that. This part is important. Let your grammar and spell check, you don't want to get points marked off for things like that. Take it to the Reading Writing Center if you need to. And then take time on this paper to also make it just interesting. A theory can be, you can use your creativity and you can write well in this and also describe this theory effectively at the same time, and you'll get points for that, and sort of what we talked about as well, that the student connect between theories and offer an overall analysis. Should all the parts connect and tie to the thesis. So that sort of goes back here, and we've talked about it. And lastly, just use the resources that you're given. Use your TAs. Have someone read it. Start early. Prepare well. Think deeply. Connect and use the people, your TAs, your mentors, those that you know have taken the class. Use them to help you improve your paper. And I hope that this was at least helpful a little bit, and happy writing. Bye.